why train your leaders, right? And there'll be stuff here that you already know, but we know that the benefits, and this comes from research that we've done, the benefits of really building a really strong leadership program is it sets up sustainable talent internally. We know it's a lot harder now to externally get people in. We want retention of our people, and we know that especially with younger generations now, what they want is mentorship, development, etc. So when we don't have that, the likelihood of keeping them and the attrition actually, increases. If we think about it from a data perspective, we know that probably, and this comes from research that we've done externally, but also research that we've done internally, we know that 37% of frontline leaders or first-time managers said that the biggest challenge for them was the lack of explicit training in what management and leadership is. And what I mean by that is the difference between the things that I need to do daily in regards to managing expectations with my team versus those kind of skills that are much more around interpersonal people leadership, understanding self, the ability to not only manage performance but manage people. And I think there's that real shift when we move from that individual contributor to becoming a leader, of being able to actually step out and see that sort of, we talk about it sometimes as being on the dance floor versus being up on the balcony. How do we manage those two different spaces? What we're finding, and this is from our own Thinka capability analysis, is that on average, early stage leaders rated their leadership skills 11% higher than what their leaders rated them. And what that really tells us is often there are gaps that they're not seeing. There are blind spots. And what we're also seeing is really, if we think about the on-demand, both early stage leaders and what their superiors or their bosses' leaders gave them, the feedback was really, we're seeing the number one skill as being around delivering feedback. And what we try and talk about at Thinka when we're in workshops, and all the facilitators talk about, is the feedback culture that we're trying to build in organizations is so critical, because every bit of feedback should be about growth, whether it's constructive feedback, whether it's positive recognition. Ultimately, it's about someone's growth. And if you can't move into that space or move into that mindset that says, I've got to move away from being fearful of how someone feels or the relationship, and move to a balance of, I need to balance outcome and relationship, and I need to see that it's actually doing a disservice when I'm not providing that feedback. We see that as probably one of the biggest gaps when they move into that space, which is why our programs are kind of set up in the way that they are.